Good morning, y'all. It's Timothy. I just saw a clip where a guy basically got married to this chick, but then secretly behind the scenes, he was telling like the producers and the camera people about how he secretly thought she was just some fat whale and how he was hoping he could get her into running and how any moment spent with her was just allegedly unbearable. And it's fucked up because even in the videos, like he's doing things like dipping strawberries in Nutella and feeding it to her with a smile, like, here you go, enjoy this. And then secretly he's telling people behind the scene, yeah, she's like fucking force feeding me Nutella. And it's like he's acting like it's against his will. I don't understand it. Let's just say this type of shit is exactly why I'm a misandrist now, because it's just like y'all niggas keep setting yourselves up for failure. And I'm tired of it. And setting up women for failure too. I had this friend, his name was Max. He was strange. I'm kind of used to having friends that are strange. But, he had his good moments. He had plenty of bad. Let's just say one of the baddest things he's done, or the worst. Not baddest as in a baddie, bad as in like shitty. He got married to a chick. And the only reason they got married was because he wanted someone who would not constantly ask him for money. Like, made her own money. Had a decent body. He even told me himself that she had basically like a 4 out of 10 face and an 11 out of 10 body. So, like, she was super toned and fit and athletic, but he could not stand to look at her. That's disgusting. And then on top of that, he wanted someone who was smart. She was all of those things. He basically wanted someone where it's like, okay, are you good enough that my dick can get hard around you? Like, I can just not look at your face, like everything but her face. And then someone who won't ask him for cash, even though he made a lot of money. I guess he didn't want. Yeah, anyway, let's just speed this story along and say they're divorced now. It took a while of convincing him to get a divorce, but and also no, we were just platonic friends. He got a divorce because he was just being so cruel to this woman. Like at some point, like, because it's like he had basically an emotional affair. If you were to ask him, he'd say it's not cheating, and I had to tell him, what would you call it? To be in a closet after hours with your coworker and just snuggling and grinding up against each other and doing everything but kissing. And like you clearly that is some sort, and meanwhile your wife's at home wondering why you're staying at work so late. That's still cheating. It's an emotional affair and still has physical elements. Just because she didn't suck your dick doesn't mean it's not cheating. Like really. And then even if she didn't, like, that's still emotional cheating to be like, I'm gonna rely on someone else to fulfill my emotional needs that my partner can't, which is not good. It depends on the circumstance, but it's like, no, she was a perfectly fine lady. And then he's just abandoning her at home because he decided, oh, you know what? My coworker is really fucking hot and she makes me feel good. But the whole time he's not even trying with his wife at home. At some point, she even broke down crying in front of this man. And she just was like, I still love you. Are you sure you don't want to work this out? What's gotten into you? And he just basically he does this fucked up thing, and I remember the way he told it to me. It's amazing I didn't become a misandrist in this moment, but it did really fuck me up. He grabs her by the hand and he says, you know how, like, when you just touch someone's hand, it's like such a sensual experience. Like, you get to feel all the grooves and the inner corners of their fingers, and it's like so soft and tender and loving. You know that, right? You know how that's just like such an amazing, intimate experience that makes you feel something strong and a connection? She said, yeah. He said, I don't get any of that with you at all. And then he lets her hand go and then says, so we're getting a divorce. And he just like slides her over like the papers and it's like, nigga. I remember he said that shit. Mind you, at the time I heard this story, I was like 22. I openly stood up, spun in a circle like twice in agony, and just clenched at my chest and said, Max, what the fuck? And he was like, is that bad? I said, yes, it's bad. That's so astronomically terrible. What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, really, that shit made my heart hurt. Oh my god. Anyway, and yeah, let's just say it turns out all along he had to learn the hard way that it's like, oh, never mind, I actually want like a bad bitch who has things in common with me, and I should go for that. And yeah, let's just say she took a lot of money in stocks in the divorce, as she should. Amen to her. Hope she utilizes them well. And he just keeps trying to have sex with random Thai women off of Tinder and Grinder and all that. Well, not Grinder. He goes to gay bars, but he says he's not. It's weird. I don't know. He's a strange man. He's figuring shit out in the form of Asian fetishization, I guess, and going to gay bars just to complain about being hit on by gay men, despite having a huge ass and beautiful doe eyes. I'm just saying, it's like, dude, you know what's gonna happen there. I think he really does like the self-esteem boost. But I don't know, that's something that terrifies me, is that you could be with someone and not know how they truly are at all. That's the scary thing about love in general. Like, hell, I remember my longest relationship I've had so far. Let's just say I remember a topic that was extremely serious and discussed on the first date, and even came up several times in our relationship, and is something I have trauma about. A big reason for our breakup was that he decided to just rip off his Scooby Doo mask and reveal to me that his opinion on it was extremely, extremely drastically scary. I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like the times I've dated men where they're like, yeah, trans rights, and then months later they're trying to neg me out of the idea of being non-binary, because they're trying to like be like, why does it matter if this pop star is trans? Oh my god, who can? And it's like, mind you, I don't even talk about trans shit that often, but they would find a way to like leave little signs of ain't shitness around for me to kick, like, and it's like, it's my choice. Do I brush it to the side and pretend he didn't do that, or do I collect it and go, I should fucking toss this in the garbage along with him because he's dropping shit everywhere and he's the source of it. That is an important skill to have in your life, to be able to recognize when someone's not shit, or when they are shit but in a bad way, and then fucking leave. But I don't know, something about that just I've never liked it. Like, I already got on here and told y'all about that one male acquaintance, if you can even call them that, I have, where they just straight up were like, ooh, yeah, I've been with my girlfriend for over 30 years, and he told me, like, fucked up shit, like, oh, yeah, her mom is, like, dying of cancer, and she's just being such a buzzkill. So I said, I can't handle this. Just take some time to yourself to figure out how to deal with this yourself. I don't want to. We should also break up. And then she was like, no, we don't have to break up. Why can't you just be there for me? And he was like, nah, nah, I'm good. Like, you figure your stuff out. And, like, I remember I heard that and I already was giving him the side eye, but then it got worse. It got worse. Because then he told me, I'll put it this way, the timeline of events between times he's gotten engaged to random Thai women, because Jesus, men love. What's up with white dudes who are slightly psychopathic and Thai women? Ooh, and Filipino women. Yeah, passport bros. Ew. But yeah, this nigga, like, how do I put this? Let's just say over the course of his entire open relationship with his girlfriend, who he thinks is cool, as a grown ass man, like in his 70s, he's had like an obscene amount of engagements to other people within that time period that the main girlfriend didn't know about. Imagine you're with someone for 30 years and you don't know that there's been multiple instances where they almost got fucking married to some 20-year-old in the Philippines, or a 25-year-old in Thailand, or this, and that. It's scary and it's disturbing out here. In millions of cases, like that lady in, I think it was Denmark, where she found out that her husband was literally like raping her, like, and then arranging for men to line up around the block to have a chance to rape her as she was drugged unconscious. That's fucking disgusting. Like, how many years did they have on a mask? What happened? What just, that terrifies me. Or whenever you see these stories about people who have loving partners, but then one day they just find out about their partner cheating once, but then they learn it wasn't just like, oh no, it was just an impulsive kiss to my coworker. It was actually like years and years and years and years and years of like pre-planned cheating. Like, then they'll learn like, oh shit, you've been cheating on me ever since we first fucking met, and you've just been cheating this whole fucking time, but you still chose to marry me. You disturbed, and then like these people, oh, those stories break my fucking heart. I don't know. Sometimes the world is a scary place, and it makes me disgusted and disappointed with like how obscene it can be. It's like it doesn't pull punches. If anything, it punches harder than you think it will. Like, oh my God. Like, when we were younger, we thought that the biggest things we'd have to worry about were like quicksand or PG&E bills. But then it's like, oh, what if your boyfriend of several years, you find out that they're a predator that they've been hiding at this whole fucking time? What if you swear you're in love with somebody, but then you check their computer and there's just huge fucking folders of like thousands and thousands and thousands of images videos and 24-hour Instagram stories that they manually download every single day for fucking years of the girl they told you not to worry about who just so happens to also be a Thai woman. Shit like that makes dating just seem not worth it. It makes love seem not worth it. Even recently with that guy I've been tripping on, Mitchell. I don't know. Like, it just worries me that there's people out there who can put on such a facade but secretly have a running dialogue in their head that is 10 times worse about you than you can ever imagine. So they could be acting like you're the best thing since sliced bread, that you're like a god that's visiting the planet and blessing them with the time of day, but secretly they're like, oh my god, she's so annoying for this. I don't like the way she does that. Her opinion on that is annoying. Oh, I would never do that with her. And like, but then the outside is like a mask where they're putting on a facade over and over and over. That scares me. Someone said that trying to love as a very honest person who likes to communicate and be rational in the modern era is kind of like if you give someone a bow and arrow and they put it in position like they could shoot, and you're just like helping pull the bow your direction, and that the more you hang on to the other person, the higher the chance that if they were to let go of that arrow and blast it into your chest, it would hurt. Why? Because the longer you're around, the gravity of you pulling the bow would mean the velocity would increase, and whatever the fuck they shoot through your heart is gonna hurt twice as bad. Like, some people have one night stands and they don't, and it'll hurt for a bit. Or like, I've had plenty of like 1 month situationships or whatever that still fucking stung. Absolutely. Still kind of have a fucked up dent in my subconscious to this day. But still, I'm just saying, like, imagine that feeling, but then over the course of like several months, several years, all that. If anything, that ex I had, Morgan, sort of an ex. I don't know what I would describe him as. It's just easier to say than explaining our situation. But I remember he told me that the girl he cheated on, the last girl he was with before me, they were together for like 2 years, almost three. And he hated that she left him. But it's like, my brother in Christ, you were 6 months into that relationship and you decided to start cheating on her. You're fucking, yeah. You've been betraying her for like a year and a half, openly and repeatedly. And he did more terrible shit to her. It's just one of those things where it's like, I can't believe there's some people who go on this planet claiming that what they have is love, when in reality it's mental retardation. Like, it's just evil. Do you know how many men I've dated who said they loved me? Mm-hmm. There's people that will say they love you and see a future with you because they want to unlock certain opportunities with you or around you. There are people who will marry you not because they want like a wonderful loving family and adoration, but because they literally will be the type of dumbass to think, I want a self-esteem boost and like my clothes cleaned, and like, I want to feel big and powerful in the ways I didn't as a child because of my neglectful parents and my bad school life. And instead of just being like, I could just invest this money into like therapy and then also like hire a maid to do my laundry, or hell, just get a laundry pickup service. No, these niggas will go, you know what? No, I want to get married. I'm going to invest all like 10 times more money and put on a million facades and more because I want to be seen as perfect. And then if she can uphold my perfect life, and then if at some point I can just like basically betray her and then become everything she's always said she hated just because I want an ego boost, then you know what? Hey, it works for me. Like, it's like there's no other word for it but just pure mental obsolescence. It's just vacant space in there. I don't respect people like that. Like, whenever I meet niggas who did stupid shit to me, like, they didn't communicate, they love bombed, they gaslit, they lied, it's just like, it's all pathetic. And I know, it's pathetic that I stuck around, but what can I say? When I see potential and hope and love and beauty in people, I want to stick around. But it's so ironic because with those same people, if you were to stick around, they would treat you worse. They're trying to punish you for actually seeing something in them that they don't see in themselves, despite how that's the same thing they also desperately crave, but they wouldn't know what to do with it when they had it. They would just abuse you. I don't know. It's so fucking infuriating. So that's what I'm afraid of. There's niggas out here that claim they want love and love you, but really they just want what they perceive as convenience. Whole time it's like, nah. Like, nigga, you have health insurance. You could have got therapy for free. Laundry pickups can be as low as like 25 bucks for a fucking pound of clothes, or hell, even less. Or more like 50 bucks for 25 pounds of clothes. And you're just out here like, nah, I'd rather like psychologically like abuse and slow burn torment a girl for years until we eventually get married. Like, they'd rather be the fucking boiling a toad metaphor of like, if you put a toad in water, turn up the heat slowly over time, the toad's gonna notice the water's getting warmer, but not that much because it'll just get used to it until next thing you know it's boiling. But by then it can't move and it'll basically die. I don't know. I don't. There's layers to this, but people like that make me terrified of love. Another story, ironically, like another rich person who I wouldn't say I was friends with, just a weirdo named Mario. He told me that he got married to this woman, an older Asian woman, because he had a thing for Asians and he had a thing for women. I'm noticing a thing. Everyone has a thing for Asians. Respect. But he had a thing for Asian women and he had a thing for older women. And he married her, and she made it clear, like, I don't want to have a bunch of kids. But he secretly did. They had, and also, mind you, she's older. She's like in her 50s. She has her first baby, gets pregnant. They have a child together. It's amazing. And then this guy is basically like, oh, I want more children. She's like, I can't have more kids because I'm older. Also, like, yeah, I just can't do something like that. And then he decides, cool, fuck you, we're getting a divorce then. And so then he literally, it's like you created a family and just to break it up. And then now you're just trying to get pussy from random concierge in the lobby that you're sexually harassing and just going out and doing acid and drinking all the time and seeing your daughter that you made only like fucking 2 days out of the week. Like, you could have just not fucked an old lady. How about that? Or if you fucked an old lady and already have one kid and you want to allegedly have a big perfect family, then be there for your, like, nigga, like, wow, you proved that he proved that he was not capable of even having a big perfect family, because the second there was a chance where he could only have one kid with this woman, he decides, fuck that, fuck love, fuck marriage, and fuck that kid, and then he bows out. That's like if someone is like, I am craving chocolate. I would like 25 pounds of chocolate. And then you go, oh, how about this? How about I just give you a candy bar? You take the candy bar, you're like, cool. Still want 25 pounds. They're like, we can't give you 25 pounds, I'm sorry. And then you go, okay, well, fuck this candy bar, and you throw the candy bar away. But then complain about not having chocolate. Like, it's like, you have a family already that you could be working on. And it's just, yeah. And just like it's scary the amount of facades that can go on with perceived love. I know. I can read all the psychology books in the world and self help and get therapy myself and try not to rely on a man and try not to take everything at face value. But Jesus Christ, I'm so tired of meeting people who do the whole thing of, wow, I can't believe you thought I liked you just because I said I liked you and married you and had a kid with you and this, and that. It makes me physically ill. If anything, that's what Mitchell did, and it's kind of helped me not be attracted to him anymore, because it's like, okay, this man really tried to sit there and be like, wow, I don't I don't know why you think I like you. And it's like, yeah, nigga, you literally spent almost 9 fucking hours straight on a phone call with me while actively refusing to go to sleep the whole time, even when I was basically saying that you should. Like, nigga, you fucking passed out on the phone with me at 4 a.m. and then the second it hit 8 a.m. and daybreak hit your window, you woke me up again just to continue talking to me for like another fucking 30 minutes to almost like 45. Like, come on now. And you want to say you don't have feelings for me? Very, very interesting. Interesting, because when I actually, at some point during the week where we got back on good terms, I was like, oh, it seems like I'm spamming you. I apologize. I'll stop bothering you and talk to someone else. And then this man went out of his way to be like, no, 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 no. I'm just kickboxing. And like kept trying to make it clear how badly he wanted to talk to me. Very interesting. And like, just on top of that, it's like, how do I put this? Someone online, I remember I told them just the smallest bit about the situation, and they were like, stop trying to desperately fit someone into your life who doesn't want to be there. He's trying to let you down easily, and you're just not taking the hint. And I thought, oh yeah, what an amazing hint that was when he messaged me like 18 times begging me to call him. What an amazing hint that was when any single moment I was around him, he was glued to my face, would not stop kissing me, would not stop hugging me and holding me. When he was literally fantasizing about the idea of one day having a child with me. Like, he literally told me, like, oh shit, this has surpassed the fetish. Like, the image of you actually with a big round belly and, like, breastfeeding, like, and having two kids actually, like, was heavenly. And I like that obscene amount. He would record videos with me of like, and I wouldn't even ask him to. He would record long videos of him kissing me and being as romantic as possible. And he even pretended that the ring he got me was a damn near engagement ring, because what we were gonna do during that week we spent together, we got a ring from like Japantown, and we were gonna fake propose in public so that we could get free drinks, or also just for the fucking like shits and giggles, you know. But he started acting like that shit was a real engagement ring. He was like, I never want to see you without that on your finger, and taking it and like touching it all the time and reacting as if it was an engagement ring. And he kept even like looking back on videos of us and pointing like, look at this moment, this is where I was like, hey, I could get used to this, what if we did this, hey, what if we kept like, and joking about like, hey, what if we actually did have a future together, what if we did get married, what if we did date seriously, all this unnecessary shit, all this unnecessary shit. What an amazing hint it was when he just would, like, how do I put this? If a man is doing everything in his power to be, like, that into me, at the very least, I can assume he likes me, right? I can assume that. But no, these niggas want to just do what the fuck ever when they feel like it in the moment without any thought about how other people feel, especially women. And I'm getting tired of hearing about dudes who just marry women who they consider butterfaces, where they like everything but her face. And they're like, yeah, she cooks and she cleans, and I can go wherever. Like, some men get married just for the sake of, hey, you know what? This girl will do anything I want and I can cheat on her. May as well marry her, because if I let her go, like, you know, fuck, I'm just going to be playing with my dick all the time. They treat their own wives as backup plans. Or, like, it's just, I don't know. I'm disturbed at how terrible love can be, especially with men. It's fucking vile. I'm scared of it. Ew. And yeah, with Mitchell, I guess I'm just kind of like, okay, maybe it's good that this is happening, because, like, I remember years ago, it actually flashed back me to this exact moment that led to, like, a breakdown that lasted for, like, a whole year. I remember I had an ex-boyfriend. His name was Patrick number 2. He was out of the 2 Patricks I dated back to back. He was the inferior one, as you can imagine. With him, I remember I tried to end things with him gently. And then I remember he spammed my phone with messages about, like, oh, I wish I could kiss you one last time. I'm going to miss you so bad. I hate to see you go. I wish you wouldn't leave. Oh, I desire you so bad. I really loved your letter. It was so sweet, blah, blah, blah. And then eventually I thought on it, and I thought, oh, am I missing out on something here? I don't know if he's been acting like he didn't want me most of this time. But then as soon as I leave, and then guess what? I came back into his life. I kind of asked, like, hey, so do you have feelings for me? And then this asshole literally scoffed, like, wow, just because I said I wanted to kiss you, you think that means I want to get back together with you? And he laughed. And let's just say, I backhanded that nigga so fucking hard that the velocity made him stand up straight. And oh, like, fuck, and it got bad. It got worse. I almost stole that nigga's glasses. A lot of shit happened very, very quickly, and I felt bad for years, but now, no offense, it's been almost 5 years, I don't feel bad anymore. Fuck that nigga. It's like, you're not about to just play in my face like that. Oh, I'm about to play in yours, and I play rough. I had a heartache, he had a face ache. It was a fair trade. I didn't want my own, like, he made my head hurt, his head had to hurt back. I'm just saying. Because if it's one thing I fucking hate, it's people who say one thing then do another. It's like, okay, if you don't like me, cool. You didn't have to be on that, like, with the current guy, it's like, okay, if you really didn't like me, you didn't have to be on a 9-hour phone call with me begging me to not hang up. If you really didn't like me, you didn't have to message me every day, any chance you could. If you really didn't like me, you didn't have to do a bunch of weird, like, oh, imagine if we actually did date. Imagine if we did actually have some sort of future of, like, marriage or kids. Imagine this. Oh my God, you're so perfect in every single way, shape, and form. Like, if you heard and saw this shit, I want to damn near post a video. I have, like, oh, it was obscene. the dedication and Oscar worthy shit. Like, it's like this nigga was trying to get cast in a fucking Oscar award winning Hallmark movie or some shit. Like, Jesus, nigga, I don't need all that. And then he wanted to be all, oh, it was a fun week, I guess. It was nice. Oh, you thought I liked you? Like, and it's like, see, because now I'm going to have to fuck you up. Because you're playing in my fucking face and my feelings. And I didn't need that in the first place. Like, oh, yeah. So, shit just disturbs me. This doesn't mean I'm anti-marriage, but like I kind of like those people who say like, "Ooh, marriage doesn't stop you from having issues." That's true. I still believe in being married because you can at least get things out of it like alimony and child support and whatnot. But I'm just fucking saying, niggas are evil out here in the weirdest, most covert, selfish ways imaginable. So shout out to the women who are unapologetically selfish. Because if you're the woman who's like, it doesn't matter, like, who's just like, cool, you're getting me this, you're doing this for me, and this. Like, at least you can come out the other side of whatever messy ass fucking divorce or stupid ass breakup having what you want. You won't just be a girl who gets dumped by a man or has to leave a man with nothing to your name and, like, regretting everything you've done for him and shit he didn't do for you. And just like, yeah, I'm just saying. So the trick to all this, to avoid it, is have high self-esteem, ask for what you want unapologetically, and all that. Because I'll also say it not to flex on anybody, but sometimes I'll meet people and they'll be like, "I've been in tons of relationships and I can't even get a date out of these men. Like they can't even get me flowers." Like I understand that it's hard. It's hard. Like I went through a series of events that got me on the path that I did, but I'll just say it. It starts with you. If you want a man that gets you flowers, then be okay with being single until you meet the type of guy who buys flowers and he likes you. If you want the type of man who calls you beautiful all the time, hold out for him. Like, I'm just saying, hold out. And then, like, even if he is everything you've imagined, because I thought Mitchell was, trust me, he was everything I liked at that time. And then I got to know him more, and it's like, oh, never mind. You're a weird, gaslighting, revisionist cunt, and I hate you, actually. He's a man child, and all the other ways that other times I've met man children were. And he also has that thing where he holds in his emotions and then blows up at you later. And yeah, just, he's not healed. He was everything I wanted in a person on paper, but deep down, he was not healed, he was not safe, and he was not great. But it starts with you. You have to actually know what you want and stick to it. If you don't, you will be settling for less for the rest of your lifetime and be like these women. Because the woman who was with my weird male acquaintance, if you can call him that, let's just say she's in a situation I would never be in. Because while she's just been like, yeah, we could be in an open relationship because I know deep down you still love me and we can be together 30 years without any sign of marriage or ring or owned property or anything with each other. Like, no, I probably would have not even stuck around for like more than a few months in that situation. It's like, yeah, you just fucking leave. Like, niggas will be talking about, like, how do I put this? You ask for what you want and don't settle. Because, like, trust me, there are still niggas out there who are psychopathic as fuck. They are. They will say you're beautiful and that you mean the world to them. Secretly, you are not even remotely their type. That's true. But at the very least, you can filter through some of the bullshit by being confident in yourself and not relying on him to call you beautiful, but at the same time, requiring him to call you beautiful. Absolutely. Trust me, like, will he do Valentine's Day for you? Will he treat those holidays special for you? Because he should. That's his job. That's what he's supposed to do. He's supposed to make you feel special. And if you get signs that he's not making you feel special, then you probably just aren't special to him. Trust me, I was going to dip out on Mitchell before I fucked up phone call because I kind of thought to myself, okay, this dude has some weird man-child bullshit where he wants me, but he doesn't, but he does, but he doesn't, but he does, but he doesn't, and doesn't, but does, and I'm right for him, but I'm also all wrong for him, and I just thought to myself, this is a lot of bullshit that I don't care about and need. I'm gonna just exit stage left. He's the one who was like, ooh, let's call one last time, but fuck Mitchell. Whatever. But on the bright side, the healing process has been easier for me because it's like, yeah. But I guess what I was trying to say is don't settle for any bullshit because at the very least, it can help filter out some assholes. And trust me, I remember with that Riley guy. If anyone doesn't remember Riley, I got attacked by his ex because he lied. Let's just say I thought he was so perfect on the first date, and by the second date, I got a black fucking nose from a bitch punching me in the face, and I got bruises, and it was terrible. It was hot under these blankets. 1 second. But guess what? I knew objectively that it's like, okay, I still came out the other side pretty damn good. Because I remember he still got me a few gifts and items along the way, and some good experiences and moments where it's like, okay, he was a piece of shit. Absolutely, he was. I'm just grateful that the red flags showed themselves sooner, and I'm grateful that not everything went to total shit. And that I still got to come out the other side with a guy making me feel magical and doing this, this, and that, because then I can brag about it, and it's still good treatment that I can brag about to other people. I'm just saying, like, you won't be in a situation where you're gonna be unmarried for 30 years if you just simply tell yourself, if this dude doesn't show signs of commitment within a few months, then fuck him. Or if he doesn't show that he's gonna really marry me within like a year, then fuck him. And I mean, like, really, really signs, like everything. Even with some of the worst men I've dated, like, I stuck around because it's like, okay, cool. They showed signs, like, I'm gonna work more hours, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna take her out to that. And they showed consistency. Amen to them. Well, no, curse them, they suck, but kudos to them is more like it. And I'm just saying, it's like, you won't ever be a woman who's like, oh my god, he never took me on dates, he never did this, he never did that, and then for the next girl, he started acting like she was God's gift to the earth and taking her out to fancy restaurants. If you just simply are like, cool, nigga, if you like me so much, take me to a fancy restaurant off the fucking bat. Cool. And then on top of that, here, try to impress me. Otherwise, like, I'll put it this way, don't put yourself in a position to be fucked over by a man. That's just my advice. If you do, it's gonna, like, yeah, you could be a girl who's like, oh, these men never take me on dates and never take me seriously. Don't worry, girl, you will be okay. Even if some man made you feel unvalued before, it doesn't mean you don't have value. Sometimes niggas just don't see value and don't know what to do with it if they had it. Kind of like if you gave, like, a toddler an expensive porcelain vase, it would probably break it in the same way it would break, like, some random jar they find in the back of a garbage bin. I'm just saying. But my point is, act like you value yourself and only go for people who value you, and then even if they fuck you over, at least you can say that you gave it a good shot and you didn't just settle for any nigga who's like, I don't like Valentine's Day. Why would I give you this? Why would I? Like, no, because you went, I'm gonna get flowers. I'm getting romantic dates and nothing else. And if you don't, keep your ass home. I require respect, consistent behavior, dates, this, like, you have to demand it yourself. And then even if, like, there's still ancient niggas that will slip under the radar, but the good thing is, at the very least, you didn't settle. And even if you act, like, how do I put this? Which do you think is worse, walking into a bear trap or a mouse trap? A bear trap would be if you just threw caution to the wind and trusted any single person who liked you, no matter what. But if you took precautions and researched things and tactics that are used against women who are naive and vulnerable, and if you still do the best you can, then simply put, even if you do, like, hell with Mitchell, he seemed great in so many ways, but it's okay. He wasn't. He was like, but he was good enough where I don't fully regret meeting him, and I'm still happy we met to a certain extent. So it hurts, but it doesn't hurt that much because it kind of feels like walking into a mousetrap. Like, I'm not gonna lose my fucking leg over it. I'm not gonna just be unable to move or ever exist again or trust. Like, it's not that traumatic. It'll just be like, ow, that fucking hurt. Oh, that sucked. And then I'll move on. That's the joy and beauty of life. Anyway, I think I got my point across. Marriage is scary, but I guess, like, only because a lot of people ruin it. So to make sure that you don't have ruined marriage, just please do what you can to make sure you're not walking into active bear traps. And, like, make sure his behavior is consistent with his words and his actions. 100%. Amen. And on top of that, value yourself, love yourself, and if you get the feeling that it's not what you want, leave. Like, it's better to, like, admit you walked into the wrong room than spend the rest of your life in the wrong place. Like the one who, with the guy who she was with for over 30 years, she could have left at the 8-year mark. It would have sucked, yeah, but it's like, okay, at least you didn't spend longer. If you dated a dude for a bit and he was being inconsistent, like, I'm not going to take you to a fancy spot, I'm not going to do this, or that, but you know deep down he's probably going to save his money to spend it on other bitches, you can leave that guy. It's okay. Because at least you knew to leave. Because some people can't do that. I'm just saying. Yeah, I have a story. Like, let's just say, I remember I kind of eased up on a fella, and lo and behold, the money that I was afraid to ask for, like, fucking random scammers in India who were pretending to be famous porn stars got that money before I ever did, and I was the woman he supposedly loved. But that's because he probably just saw it as, is it love or do I just want someone to take care of my kid in my house when I'm not around? And also consistent pussy to go barring. And also, like, he didn't even want children. He just wanted a boy as a prize. He didn't actually want another mouth to feed. If anything, he hated already feeding his fucking daughter and himself. I don't know. Thank God that relationship, if you could, that disgusting thing, a mistake is what, thank God that mistake was over. Amen. Hmm. Yeah, but that's what I mean. It's like someone can think that they love you and want to marry you, but secretly it's like, oh, I just want her as a prize trophy to make me look good. And then I want to eventually start hurting her because it'll make me feel powerful that I can do it to someone who I think is better than me. Also, I want her to be able to take care of my kid and do this and do that and use her credit to get a better place that I can't afford because I have always fucked up my credit. And my name's Jared and I'm an idiot. Fuck Jared. He's a stupid idiot. But yeah, at least I left. I left and there's that. But if I could rewind time, I would have been like, you're taking me here, we are doing this, we're doing that. You're also giving me money for the laundry because you're around. Like, why should I have, like, yeah, you're here, you like me, do this. Or else. But yeah, and I forget where, there was a really good point I was just about to make. But let's just say when their actions don't seem to align with their words, that's when you dip. Like, and I'm glad I dipped. There was a moment where I really did dip at some point, but yeah. Oh, I also remember at some point he was slacking really hard, like in terms of dates and efforts and respect towards me. And that's when I was like, okay, fuck it. And I started going on dates with other men, and he kept complaining and shit. But I said, okay, if I really mean that much to you, take me here, take me there. Did he? I think like maybe once, but other times, nah. If anything, fancy places were places he took me to as an apology for whatever fucked up shit he did to me, which wasn't cool. It's alright, because on the bright side, I learned my lesson. I left that man in the dust, and he's suffering, and I am far away from him. And I get to experience a lot of new types of beauty. Amen. Oh, I think this is what I was gonna say. I was gonna say, like, if you start feeling that a man's slacking off, or if you feel like he's just not putting in that level of effort, leave. There was one guy I remember, he kept trying to act like he really felt something for me or whatever, but I could tell that it was just bullshit games and tactics. And eventually I just kind of was like, you know what? He's insecure as fuck in a million different ways, and he's trying to act like I mean something to him, but really he probably just has a harem of women he's talking to because he's a whore. Like, trust me, men have different 24 hours than women, and it's actually kind of terrifying. Because it's like, okay, nigga, how are you texting me all hours of the night until 3 a.m., but you're also multitasking? But his tactic that he did, and I noticed for that, was that he would specifically, he wouldn't say names and he wouldn't ask targeted questions. He would just talk and talk and talk about whatever he wanted. And then even if you said something that reflected on your own personal life, he would never ask anything back to you because he didn't want to risk, I mean, he didn't want to like risk like crossing wires or getting things mixed up about you or this or that and the other person. Like if you got 8 women that you're talking to, I get why you wouldn't ask questions to each and every single one, but luckily for me, I was like, hey, guess what? I require someone to ask questions. You can't just go like keep talking about whatever you want to talk about. I say something, you ignore it. Like you have to show mutual interest in me or I'm not interested. He tried to gaslight me, I blew up at him. Things ended. Thank God they ended. Because, like, trust me, it's like a lot of wonderful people on this planet who choose to be terrible. And trust me, like, if let's just say eventually you don't feel bad for being demanding because you know the consequences of what will happen if you don't. Then next thing you know, you're sitting there with your abusive, fat, broke ass boyfriend, and you're just like, this nigga sucks. He doesn't even think I'm worth like the fucking extra $6 at Domino's for the chicken. Like, just because we can't agree on a ring flavor. And he doesn't even like rings. But it's like I kind of just decided, you know what, like I think that was one, like lots of things resulted in that relationship with that asshole ending, but I remember specifically that was a huge factor aside from all the other he was a fucking mess. But I did just kind of go, my future husband won't act this way and I can just do so much better. And that's why that nigga raged for months, because any other time he heard or saw I was doing a date with someone else, he was like, here's a Michelin star restaurant, here's an escape room, here, I'm buying you this ruby bracelet, I'm doing this for you, I'm doing that for you. It would make him feel inferior, so he would text me. But it's okay, because guess what? It's like, cool, the most you can do to try to harm me now is text me and complain about me online. Because you're a fucking loser. It's good that you leave so that then all they can do is be stupid and try to be hurtful and fail, far, far away from you. Do not stay in situations like that. Don't give them the benefit of the doubt. If anything, leave as soon as you can. Stay away from them. I swear to fucking God. But it did feel quite satisfying leaving that relationship. And then next thing you know, it was like instantly Lake Tahoe first date. Gary Danko twice in 2 weeks with like wait 1 week with like two different niggas. Like next thing you know, I had dudes getting me fucking opal necklaces before the second date even fully occurred. Like niggas were being really, really nice. And I'm just saying that could be you too. You won't be the chick who's sitting around complaining about her boyfriend never taking her on dates or doing anything special if you aren't the type that just settles for like coffee or a walk or sitting in a park or text or a McDonald's drive-through as a date. Like, nah, you want a dude who shows you off and gets cute and pays the bill. Then simply put, have your standard be that. You won't be the chick waiting for 30 years if you leave after like a few weeks. You won't be the chick settling for massive amounts of emotional abuse if you leave the second he even tries the necking, if he tries the gaslighting, all that. Trust me, that's something I'm working on too. Because even, like, trust me, I see people trying to gaslight me, and even when it doesn't fucking work, I still think to myself, I want this man to know he doesn't have to do this because I love him. He can just be acknowledged for his flaws off the bat, and I can still accept him, but he doesn't have to, like, make himself look even worse. But then the key thing is, you leave anyway. If you stick around, you'll just figure out that their stupidity and ego and the shit they will do to harm someone else, if it can even make them feel slightly above, like if they can just avoid feeling bad by making you feel terrorized, they will do it. Even if, and like they will have be in a room full of solutions and leave it to go hunt for a fucking way to fuck you over, just to hopefully have something even close to the same end result, as if they just went for any of the other millions of positive resolutions. Whether they do that out of stupidity or out of like intentional maliciousness, it doesn't matter. It's the same fucking end result. You have to leave. Because that's what Max did. I can look at him and say, oh, he did that because he's stupid and insecure and doesn't really believe he's worthy of love that's real, or the woman he truly wants, or like that he's gonna be good enough for anyone who he does really want, and he doesn't think he's good enough for anyone. I can make a million excuses, but it doesn't change the fact that it's like, oh, but he still hurt an innocent woman. He still fucked over an innocent woman. In that acquaintance I have, it's like, okay, he was with that, he's still with her for like more than 30 years. And I can make excuses of like, oh, well, he's just a dumb dummy head and he just wants to. But no, I know deep down his intentions are malicious. He's a slut. That's it. And yes, I'm slut shaming because he is a slut. He's willing to destroy a woman if it means he can get his dick wet in Thailand. Same for Max. He was willing to destroy the woman who he loved and intentionally went out of his way to marry at home. If he could, like, yeah, it's fucking disturbing. And that pisses me off. How women are just seen as disposable and just like not even remotely thought of. And if we are thought of, it's more like we're being hunted for sport romantically in a million different ways. Marriage is scary. I'm fine with 12 cats and allergy pills, but you know what? I'm also just manifesting that my real love will never ever aim to harm me the way that these men have. And they never will. Amen. Yours probably won't either if you're lucky. Or if you're smart. Probably a little bit of both. Because even smart women get fucked over, and even lucky women have their dumb moments. Peace out.